This is Robyn and Cheryl Koffman from Robyn and Cheryl Real Estate.
You're listening to the S.M.E. Stories podcast.
You are now listening to the next great small business podcast. Welcome to the S.M.E. Stories podcast, where it is all about small businesses in Canada. And here's your host, Ken Alfred.
Hey everybody, thanks for downloading the show. We got a great episode today with Robyn and Cheryl from robynandcheryl.com. So a little bit about Robyn. Robyn, originally from Montreal, moved to Toronto in 1997 to complete her law degree. This, coupled with her experience in working with multiple healthcare organizations as the Director of Operations, Director of Business Development, and the Director of Facilities and Supply Chain, provide her with a valuable skill she uses daily with clients to deliver a level of service beyond the average real estate salesperson. Robyn loves helping buyers in house hunting for their dream home or investment property and working with sellers in their $1 million listing. When she's free, she enjoys spending time with her family and friends. Now, her partner, Cheryl, was also born and raised in Toronto. Cheryl worked as an educator for several years before becoming an entrepreneur and running 2 successful businesses. She has always had a passion for real estate and the love of working with people, and she now brings her experience, initiative, and personalized concierge approach to both her residential and commercial clients. Cheryl also enjoys working on creative projects and spending quality time with her family. Now, a little bit about both of them as realtors. So as realtors, they both have extensive experience in helping separating couples sell their matrimonial home. They know that divorce is a very difficult time where emotions run high. They're here to simplify the process of selling their home and assist each party in finding their new place for a fresh start. So guys, we're back in the real estate space again. We have 2 awesome guests. I think we're going to have a great time with this one, so sit back and absorb. All right, guys, so Robyn and Cheryl from Robyn and Cheryl Real Estate. What is your story?
So I'll start. This is our second career for both of us. My career started, I have a business degree and a law degree, and then I worked in executive level roles in healthcare for my entire career. And in September of 2019, I was let go, and I was at a crossroad. I could either look for another executive level role, which they're few and far between. They weren't easy to find at the time. But I was also sick of working for other people. So I kind of wanted to find a path where I could be my own boss, but didn't really know how to get there. And so now I'll let Cheryl speak to give her story, because she's the one that got us to the next
So it's Cheryl's fault. Okay.
It's my fault. It's always my fault. So I'm actually a teacher by trade. I started off in York Region Board of Education, and then I started a series of kindergarten enrichment programs with my sister-in-law and her sister, who are both teachers. We did this for many, many years. We had 4 locations of this school, and then we ended up selling when Ontario went to full-day kindergarten. So once they went to full-day kindergarten, it sort of took our customer base away, because our kids used to come to us either on mornings or afternoons or alternate days. So we sold the business, and then I started a second business, which was a head lice removal company with the same 2 partners. We did this for a few years. We had several locations. We ended up selling that business as well. And then I was really looking for a career change, what I like to call my midlife crisis career change. And I always loved real estate and was always interested in everything to do with selling and buying, showings and staging. And I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to jump in. So I called Robyn one day and I said, you know what, and COVID, this is around the time of COVID. And I said, I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to get my real estate license. And Robyn said, I'm looking for a change. I'm going to do it with you. So we jumped in and we did it. And we sort of fast tracked it during COVID, and it was like being back in high school again. It was actually really challenging, but we did a really good job, and here we are.
Wow. So that's pretty cool, like in terms of it, right? It was like a COVID, it started off as I wouldn't call it a side gig, but I know during COVID, a lot of people had switched to doing some type of gig aside from their regular job, right? Either one they did. I think we saw the rise of Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and all those things.
Right.
And then other people like even started up pop-up PPE shops. If you remember those in the malls back then, where you could just buy some masks or hand sanitizer or something like that.
Right.
No,
Exactly.
that's pretty cool then. So you guys have been doing this you started this in the COVID era now. So what, as both realtors right now, so where are you, where are your markets that you're folks servicing right now? Is it all over the GTA, or you specialize in, Richmond Hill, or whereabouts do you guys want to focus all your effort?
So our geographic region is very large. As we had mentioned to you, I think before we started recording, Cheryl is located up in North Richmond Hill, and I'm in, the GTA. So we really do go all over, north to Barrie, south to the water, east to Durham, west to Mississauga, Milton, even Hamilton and Waterloo. What we've done is, instead of looking at a geographic niche, we've decided, and it's kind of morphed over the last few years, to really focus on helping couples going through a divorce or separation sell their matrimonial home. And it's been a very interesting niche. I have a background in that, and we can talk about that a little bit more. But there's really a strong need for this kind of specialty. And our goal is to help people even outside of that geographic reach, because we can help them find a real estate agent in the local city, town, wherever they are, and then still help that agent with the intricacies involved in the divorce aspect of the sale.
Wow, it's very interesting. So you focused on that, right? Because I think that was going to be one of my questions from tips from the pro that we were going to review a little bit later. But any specific niches that maybe a new real estate agent would go into. Now, the divorce, I guess, market that you guys are, does that comprise most of who your clients are at this point?
I was going to say, we do all different types of transactions. We do residential, we do commercial, we do all the regular transactions that any real estate agent would do. But we also have this sort of specialty with separation and divorce. So we sort of do it all. But people, now we're in our third year now, and people are sort of kind of seek us out now because of our expertise in this particular area.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I hope I never have to use you guys, right? Because, but I guess from tackling that one, so there's something just came about where it just so happened that was the case, and then started becoming specialized in it. Is there still a lot of I know you try to take the emotion out of it, but how have you been able to combat that? Because I bet for most people who are maybe going through a divorce, I don't think they even think about, okay, yeah, we'll just sell the house. But I guess all the layers that actually might need to be done, what is the misconception of thinking, oh, well, it's just a regular real estate sale, right?
So it's interesting. There's really nothing about it that's regular, unless the couple who are divorcing are really get along and can agree and just want to sell the house and move on. That's the easy one. Most people aren't like that. Most divorces are somewhat acrimonious. People are not seeing eye to eye. One of the first things we tell our clients is to find, this is sort of what you're asking, is to find an agent that's unbiased. So, everyone has a real estate agent, friend or family member. We tell people not to use those people, because even if you agree with your ex on, let's say we'll use our first cousin, and you and your ex agree, they're still emotionally involved. They still know you both, right? We've heard lots of stories of people, making phone calls behind the other's back to the real estate agent because they're not happy with the way things are going. We always tell people just to choose someone that doesn't know the two of you. So someone who has experience in the area, but isn't biased, isn't emotionally involved, someone who's empathetic, but doesn't get caught up. And selling your house is emotional at the best of times. When you're going through a separation or divorce, it's obviously very heightened emotionally. And so our first sort of, bit of advice is find somebody who is experienced but isn't involved.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, like I think it makes kind of sense, but yeah, like even using like a family friend who's quote unquote neutral, I'm using that in air quotes, is not really neutral, right? Because it's
Exactly.
hard to. So that's where you guys kind of step in, where you are that neutral
Hmm.
party, where it's like, okay, so you do say, I guess. So are you either representing the buyer and the seller, like are you representing the couple, or you're kind of like, you know, for the actual buyer of a particular property that's going to be sold from a divorced couple?
Well, you can really, so there's two ways. If the couple gets along and can agree on things and trust each other and the whole process, you can be represented by one agent. However, as Cheryl mentioned, most of the time it's
Two, right?
acrimonious and they can't agree. And so they would have two listing agents, and it's called a co-listing. And all the more reason why you need to have somebody who specializes in this type of a sale, because there are a lot of different things that those agents need to deal with when dealing with a co-listing agent.
Interesting. Wow. So so I guess that part of ties in my next one of what makes your business very successful, I guess, right? Because I think you found a niche that, you know,
Hmm.
I guess is good, I guess, but you know, you're getting a lot of business that way. In a perfect world, yeah, we would
Right.
have to go through a lot of divorces and stuff for that, but hey, you guys found a really successful one and it's doing really well. So is it just the niche itself, or is there anything you're doing in your business that's really helping it become successful as it is?
Well, I think one of the things so as we mentioned, we went into this in COVID. And so unlike what the traditional real estate tactic was of knocking on doors, you really couldn't do that in COVID. Not that we personally believe that people are opening up the door and saying, yes, oh, I just met you. Yes, for sure you can sell my house. What we've actually done is we've really thrown ourselves into networking and doing a lot of the online networking and the networking groups and meeting people and doing sponsorships through networking events and stuff like that. And that's really gotten our name out there. And, you know, a lot of these networking groups have, you know, several realtors that attend, and
We're very heavy on education. So I think a lot of people don't understand their rights, what they can do and can't do when they're going through divorce and wanting to sell their home. I think part of our niche and why people are interested is that we're actually just educating people on what's involved. Like, for instance, just like a can and can't. You can't change the locks when you're separated. Even if one party has moved out of the house, you can't change the locks. You can't not allow a realtor in to appraise the home or to look at the home. You can't not allow showings. You know, you need to figure out with your ex-spouse how you're going to separate assets. Like, there's things you need to figure out. So there's a lot of education that people just don't understand. There's a big difference between married couples and common law couples. So married couples both have the right to the matrimonial home. It doesn't matter whose name is on title. They have equal right they have to agree to sell the house, and they have equal right to split the profits. It doesn't matter if the matrimonial home was like gifted to you or you inherited it. Once you're married, that home belongs to both of you. But for instance, if you live common law, and a lot of people don't know this, if you live common law, people think, oh, like in 2 or 3 years, if we live in the house together, like we share that house if we end up breaking up. But that's not true. If you live common law, the house goes to whoever is on title. So if you're not on title, you don't get anything. So there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I think part of what we're trying to do, Robyn and I, is just educate people on the process, what's involved, and sort of like the do's and don'ts of going through this process.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys have a really, you know, like I said, tight niche, and you know, you guys are definitely the experts on it. And I think, you know, like I said, I hope I don't use it, but if any of my listeners hear it, that they definitely reach out to you guys, especially
Thank
if they're
you.
in the, Ontario. I'll say it Ontario area here in Canada here, and hopefully that'll help. So, okay, next question that we have here. So, what is your plan actually for So right now you guys are both in two separate locations. Do you actually have a home office that you do? Are you thinking of maybe getting I'm curious from an expansion, what do you plan on doing in the next 5 years or so?
So, I mean, we work with the brokerage, so we have to be associated with a brokerage, so full as we can to get them to know not only that we do this service, but that this service is available and that you shouldn't be using just a regular realtor if you're going through this kind of a sale.
Okay. No, it's pretty good to hear. So, all right. Next question that I have here now. So when you guys first started this thing, so I think you guys said you're working with a brokerage right now, which is great. So when you guys got into this thing, was there anything that you were surprised at that maybe a lot of soon-to-be realtors don't realize of, the kind of expenses you guys might be expecting? I mean, maybe they might think, okay, yeah, well, I know I'll have to obviously pay for my license and stuff like that. And I guess, I'll have to be able to write off, maybe my automobile for gas expenses. But was there anything that really surprised you when you guys first became realtors that'd be like, whoa, that's, they didn't tell us, either they didn't tell us that, or they didn't really let us know that, there's things that you might have to still pay for?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, every brokerage is different, and the brokerages do take a percentage or a cut of your commission. So, when we first started, we interviewed with 3 or 4 different brokerages, and we decided to go with Forest Hill because we liked the people who ran it. We liked the reputation. We knew other people who worked there. But yeah, definitely, they don't teach you anything, let's say, in the courses about commission split, or about, things like pictures, videos, paying for office space. Now, thankfully with Forest Hill, they include the pictures and videos that we take for houses we're putting up for sale. So that's covered, but you have to buy things like signs, there's a lot there that you don't realize. I think like any educational course, the practical stuff is not taught as much as the theory. So only when you're kind of thrown in do you sort of get the taste of reality of what the situation really is.
Do they do any role playing as part of your licensing process where, you're in a classroom setting and you have to go back and forth and pretend to be the buyers or the sellers and stuff like that?
Yes, they did. And but the thing is that I think what it was lacking was teaching, more about how to fill out the forms, how to use, you can see I'm not great with technology, how to use the technology. That stuff was lacking. And I found that, there's a lot of theory about things that you're never going to use. It would have been nice if they did a little bit more just in the future. If anyone is listening from that course, it would be nice if they did a little bit more of practical training, let's fill out these forms together. Let's do them online. Here's how you get online. Here's how you get into this program. Here's how you send things to be signed. All of that stuff, we're learning as we go. We've learned as we've gone, basically.
Yeah. How to search for properties, how to send your clients listings, all those things. Yeah. That's not taught. No. And that's basic 101 that you need to know how to do when you get licensed.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. Was there anything that did surprise you on the most expensive thing that you did not know? I don't know how expensive a sign is. I don't know how much it costs to get a sign. Because I'm thinking, all right, I'm sure you guys seen the different price levels. Was there anything that's part of your business that really did shock you where you're like, wow, we're going to be careful of that one?
Well, I think for me, one of the things that really surprised me was the total fees that we have to pay. Because you have people who do this part-time. So maybe they're selling 1 house or 2 houses a year. I don't understand how they're keeping their license, how they want to spend that amount of money for such a small return.
Okay. So we missed a little bit of that, Robyn. I think we heard that last part, but the actual thing that said that shocked you was, I think you said the fees. Was there one particular fee in general, or all of them?
No, it was the overall
Oh,
fees, the overall fees to be
oh, okay,
licensed.
perfect.
Licensing fees, insurance fees. There's like certain fees we have to pay every year. I think what Robyn is saying is that if you're only selling one or two properties or doing one or two transactions a year, it doesn't really cover the fees that you have to pay to like RICO and like the real estate board and that sort of thing.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's important to have like not just sell at least a few homes a year. Don't try not to do one or two if you really want this to be even just a little bit profitable, right? Or at least
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
And would you guesstimate as to how many properties you should sell just to break even for just the fees and all the typical expenses you generally would say, if you could ballpark it there?
I would say a few. I'd say two, like maybe two to three.
2 to 3? Okay.
Yeah. Depending on, like, listen, depending on how expensive they are, you know, it's different to sell let's say a $3 million home than is to sell like a $500,000 condo, right? But yeah. I'd say like average price, like around $1 million ish. I'd say you'd probably have to sell a couple, 2 or 3.
Yeah. So maybe that whole 2.5 to 3 million's worth of real estate to kind of break even. So that, because like you said, it could depend. Like that's one house that could be
cover your.
Yeah, it could be several condos, but okay. No, that's good to hear.
Yeah, to cover your fees and then cover the commission cut that you pay and everything. Yeah.
All right. So this last question here is related to more about the social media piece of it. So what tools do you guys currently use, and how important is it right now to your success?
So Robyn's definitely the social media person, so I'll let her answer that question.
We use LinkedIn. We use Instagram and Facebook. And we do all kinds of posts. We are hoping to venture into video shortly, but I need to get some confidence in doing that.
Well, if you need someone to do the voiceover, let me know. I do offer voiceover services. Just throwing that out there.
Hey you, do you need a voiceover? Well, look no farther. Northway Capital Group has your answer. Commercials and explainer videos, AVR and voicemail, health and wellness, corporate training and e-learning, announcements, documentaries, and biography. Contact us on social media or email us at northwaycapitalgroup@gmail.com.
I'll send you a couple of audition clips. There you go. So
all right.
But yeah, I think real estate definitely, it's a very visual kind of service, right? Like you can't do an audio thing and say, yeah, you can definitely use us, and you know, here's some of the properties we've told that we've sold, and if the user doesn't see it or you know, watch it, it's kind of hard to do that. So, okay, we're gonna touch upon the industry section here now. So, in the industry section here, so for both of you, what is your current opinion of the real estate market right now, and where do you see the direction that it's going? Don't all answer at once
answering
here.
That, or do you want me to answer?
I feel like I'm at school again. All right, do I have to call on some student now?
That's what I feel like.
I'll let any one of you.
Answering that?
Well, I mean, the industry is definitely changing, ever changing. It always is. But right now, with the fluctuation of the interest rates and the uncertainty of whether they're going to be changing again, some of the buyers now are taking a wait and see approach. And so the market may not be as crazy a fall market as it usually is. But again, it really depends. There's different areas geographically that are doing great. And there's other geographic areas that are, slow and not moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys able to, I guess from what you've seen, what are the areas right now where it seems to be very healthy, and maybe what are some other sections or certain regions that may be a little bit slow? Maybe Cheryl, you can take this one.
Yeah. So I think that we've seen in Toronto, I think the summer was a little bit slow. Some of the houses were sitting a little bit longer on the market than usual. But things that are reasonably priced, usually like around, the $1 million area, tend to go pretty well. I think in York Region, the same thing. I think that the market has just slowed down a lot from last year. So where things last year were getting, every property was getting like multiple offers and things were a little bit crazy, that's sort of slowed down. we found the summer a little bit slow. And like Robyn said, because of the interest rates and, people are just, we find the buyers are just sitting back a little bit more now. So we're hoping that it picks up a little bit, now and until the end of the year. But it's been a lot slower than it was, at least in our experience, than it was last year. Last year, we were selling houses, multiple offers, getting bids well above asking. And we personally haven't been finding that over the last several months.
So are you seeing more like lowball offers or more like asking, no one's really going above what you would expect?
Some properties, yes. So it's exactly what Robyn said. In certain properties, yes, they just go and they're getting multiple offers. Other properties are just sitting. So if you look at sort of last year, even these sort of properties that weren't beautiful and needed some work, we're still getting these multiple offers. And now things are sitting longer. So when you don't have that competition, you tend to get lowball offers, right? Because no one's competing against you. So that's more what we're finding now.
Okay.
But then you get those houses that just sell quickly. So it's strange.
Yeah. One thing I want to add to that is I also think that in many cases, sellers have unreasonable expectations.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't changed their expectations to match the current market. They're still living with the expectations of all these multiple offers and crazy prices. So there are a lot of properties that are so overpriced and they're just sitting. Yeah, and that's part of the problem.
Just before I add the next one, Robyn, your picture just got 4 times better. And that's why you didn't seem to chop in and out on that one. So the other ones, just wanted to throw that out there. So whatever you're doing, just don't move.
Didn't move.
But either case, I think with the market, it's really interesting, right? And there's not a type, like you said, because I was going to say, so are the lower dollar properties staying on longer? Are they being bought faster? Or are more of the $1 million plus or $2 million properties the ones that are being held longer or selling faster? That's why I was kind of curious to see what you guys have noticed.
Yeah. But there will likely be another change, at least in Toronto. So it was recently announced last week that there's going to be an increase in the land transfer tax for luxury properties in Toronto and the municipal side. So properties over $3 million will be taxed much higher starting in January. So that might cause a bit of urgency for people to purchase in the GTA prior to January 1, and then possibly a slowdown after January 1.
Well, unfortunately, here at the Alfred household, we don't live in a $3 million property here. So,
so you're not worried about it?
We're not worried about that. And I'm in Durham, so it's not a big deal. But I wouldn't be surprised if that, hits Durham as well. But either case. So where can people find you guys?
So they can find us at our website at robynandcheryl.com.
That's Robyn with a Y, right?
Yes, thank you. And Cheryl with a Y.
Yes, Cheryl with a Y.
Cheryl with a C, not an S.
Yeah. And then on Facebook and on Instagram at Robyn and Cheryl Real Estate, and that's and spelt out A-N-D. And then we're both on LinkedIn by our names, obviously. So those are really the places to find us.
All right. Well, thank you both for being on the show. All technical issues aside, it was a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yes. Have a great day.
Hey, do you need an error-free website? Do you need transcription that's accurate and on time? Would you like to remove noise from your video or audio recording? Do you need a spokesperson for your business? If so, we can help. At Northway Capital Group, we are happy to announce that we are now providing website testing services, audio transcriptions, and audio cleanup, as well as spokesperson services. We would love to help you on your next project. Contact us for more information at northwaycapitalgroup@gmail.com.
Thank you for listening to the S.M.E. Stories podcast, which is owned by Northway Capital Group. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Northway Capital Group.